Hi everyone, my name is Patrick and I've kind of come out of YouTube retirement during these troubled times to help out my friends, my family, and those in the medical profession deal with COVID-19. Now I am not a doctor, nor am I trained in the field of medicine or science for that matter, but what I am really good at is 3D printing and making things. You might have heard on the news that recently a lot of people with access to makerspaces, 3D printers, or are really good at DIY are helping out those in the medical industry create masks. Right now, the world, if not the US where I live, is dealing with a global pandemic called the coronavirus or COVID-19. And because of that, the medical field is in short supply of things that they need, like respirators and masks. I'm going to use my tools and my talent in the 3D printing space to help those in need by printing masks and building them here in my workshop.
Hey, yo. Property. You don't know, this is lion is a burning man. It's all about positive energy. So man said, stop stepping, punk music.
A lot of people think that 3D printing is really easy, and it is and it isn't. It's always a little touch and go when you're trying to do 3D printing until you really know how to print the object, and I had to go through numerous revisions to get this to print on my printer. You really have to know what you're doing and dial in your print settings so your printer doesn't do this to your masks. And that's called stringing, when there's just a bunch of wet PLA that doesn't adhere to your print and then gets pulled away as the head of the printer is moving. This is one of my original prints that I made when I was trying to figure out how to print the mask on my 3D printer. And fortunately, I managed to nail in all my settings for the other PLA products that you'll see me use today. I'm trying to take as much caution as I can. So I've got sanitary wipes here to clean my surface. I've got gloves that I'm going to put on when I create the masks, and I've got my respirator so I don't breathe on my mask. This is what a mask looks like when it's done, and it's all been 3D printed. You've got the housing, the elastic band that goes over the person's face, as well as the filter, if you can see that right there. But what this is essentially a HEPA filter that we've created by finding household common items as well as some vacuum filters. The one supply that I don't have enough of is this material here. This is what I'm using to put in as the filter for the mask. It might seem like this is a lot of material, but this comes from an air...
Stop stepping, punk music. Listen.
All right, let's get started.
As long as you're music, we still don't wanna fight. As long as you're music, we still don't wanna try. As long as you're music, we still don't wanna fight. As long as you're music, music.
Hey everyone, it's the next day, as if you can't tell because I'm wearing a different set of clothes and I look different. I finished 3D printing and building these face masks, and I've come up, I've hit a snag basically, which is the filters that I've been using, this HEPA filter that I ran to Home Depot to get versus the air intake filter. This filter, even though it's HEPA rated, it's far too dense. And I tried peeling off some of the layers to make it easier to breathe through, and it's just far too rigid. I think you really need some type of motorized vacuum to suck enough air through this to make it work properly. And your lungs, sucking air through the filter here is not enough pressure to actually get enough airflow through the mask, which creates a problem because you just build up carbon monoxide inside here and you'll eventually if not suffocate from just not getting enough airflow through the filter, but you'll definitely get carbon monoxide poisoning by just building up and trying to breathe through here. So that's problem one. Problem two is I need to figure out a better way of doing a seal around here. Just putting the plastic against your face like this still leaves holes here, here, and over here depending on the type of face structure you have, the shape of your face, that is. I have been told that doing a window sill liner can really help that, and that's what we're going to try next. And then we went to the store this morning to get shoelaces, which the internet tells me, and the internet is never wrong, that shoelaces is a great substitute for elastic cord, which apparently after a long time rubs against your ears and then hurts the back of your head. But shoelaces are soft, they're more bendable, pliable.
Stop stepping. Punk music. Listen.
My solution to the filter problem is to just double and triple up on this HEPA filter AC vent filtration system. If you cut out about a 9-inch strip and you just keep folding it over, it fits perfectly into this mask here as a filter. And you can see how tight it is. If I zoom in there and the autofocus works, it just fits nicely in there. I'm beginning to think rapidly that this shoelace thing is really stupid and we should just use elastic. Cost per unit is
elastic
woefully
is cheaper.
Not affordable.
But elastic is sold out in a lot of stores and online right now, so in the pinch, the shoelaces are a good idea.
As long as they're clean, fresh, brand new shoelaces. The one nice thing over this is that shoelaces, you can take them off here and thoroughly wash them and sanitize them and bleach them. Now you might be asking yourself, Patrick, why aren't you wearing a mask while you're building all these masks? That's a good question, Johnny. My answer to that is I'm going to thoroughly sanitize the hell out of all of this stuff. That's why I've got these, I'm going to wipe them all down, and I've got Clorox spray, and I'm going to spray everything. Swap out the filters and put new filters in these before I ever let them leave our home. And if anything, I can just keep using this as a test one as I'm learning the process to do this. So that's one full mask done. I'm going to go grab some of the window sealant, and then we're going to put that on there. And then our first mask is officially done, and then I just need to sanitize it before I give it to anyone.
Keep the funk in their music.
Alright, so the masks have been fully sanitized. They're all done. I unfortunately do not have any plastic bags here. However, I'm going to give these to Anthony. He's right outside. And hopefully they're not going to get contaminated. Me just walking out there. Everything should be fine though. Like I said, it's all been sanitized. I'm wearing my protection. I got my gloves on. Let's go. They might smell just a hint of super glue.
Oh, you already have the filter in there. So my homie Patrick Hayes came through and he created these awesome masks with the filter. Look at that. Even got this little padding. Boom. Looking good. In fact, it was so cool. I gave one of these to my mom as she went to go get groceries today. And so I just want to give a big shout out to Patrick. Thanks again for these awesome masks. And yeah, man, thanks.
If you have the tools and the means and the time to 3D print masks, I think you absolutely should do that. Whether those masks are used for yourself, your friends and your family, or to help out the medical industry, just know you need the supplies in advance, you need a 3D printer that can actually print this, and you need the time. So when you watch this video, it might already be a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks into the quarantine, and the supply chains might have worked out. So hospitals, your friends and your family might not need this. Or we could be at the brink of another collapse and people are still getting sick and dying. And the medical industry, the medical field, doctors, nurses, people need these desperately. And so that's kind of the note that I want to leave this on, is that if you have the time, if you can do it, yes, you probably should do it. If you don't, there are probably better, faster, and cheaper ways to make a mask for you to use. Whether that's the cloth mask, a face shield, or tying a bandana or an old t-shirt around your face. Just use what you have on hand and be safe out there. If you liked this video, leave a comment, hit the like button, ring the bell, and subscribe. The instructions on how to print these, the settings that I used on my 3D printer, the files, everything is linked in the description, and I'll see you all in the next video.